Ever stared at the scoreboard and thought, how on earth does that lunatic have so many kills? Today, we're going to find out. This is the POV of a former Valorant pro, but by the end of this video, I can guarantee you one thing. You'll still be asking the very same question, because allow me to introduce you to the Protagonisn't. As the squad leader of absolutely nobody and itching to murder the entire lobby, our hero went to work for business as usual. This time in Liberation Peak, Breakthrough. 5 sectors to capture with infinite enemy respawns and... Wait, by the way, did Prot really think he was going to bring a knife to a gunfight? Yup! Well, what would I know? I'm only the narrator. But while most players prepare for war, our resident psychopath prepares for therapy with the battleground as his catharsis and, of course, a self-prescribed dose of pure rage. As Prot lay there hearing nursery rhymes and the call of the afterlife, most people think about following the light, but our hero heard voices.
I'll kill them. I'll kill them all. Let them come. No! No!
Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes!
He was back, but without assault rifle ammo, strategy would have to enter his playbook. Someone should probably tell him that the shotgun is not a sniper rifle, but what fun would that be? Sadly, someone took pity on Prot and Objective A was soon to be captured. Probably one of the most useless grenades I've ever seen thrown in my life. Okay, right, yeah, I might have forgotten about that when I was watching this about the first time. Okay, yes, you're having a good time, Prod. Everyone's having a good time. Well done. Well, I'm out here getting roasted by pre-recorded gameplay. That's the last time I go off script. Ha! Get wrecked. I mean, good job, medic. Heavily defended objectives. Logic said no. Prot calmly said,
yeah, baby!
like I said, perfectly calm. Now is also a good time to point out that Prot's peripheral vision isn't what it used to be.
Hello there.
I didn't want to tell him this, but teabagging is usually done over the fallen enemy, but he seems happy enough. Oh boy, even pro players aren't immune to the charm of the noob tube. For the first time this match, Prot was alone, surrounded, and moments from death. I'd like to think he used that time to reflect on teamwork and strategy. But when I asked him about it later, he said, let me check my DMs here, he said, yes, you're so old, you fart dust, stop narrating my life, and touch grass, you stupid Okay, well, you get the idea. Anyway, Prot respawned on his team where Objective Bravo was secure. Then straight back to Alpha for revenge. Let's enjoy that instant karma one more time. Pause, he's dead. So why, in the name of Zeus's sparkling butthole, did he keep fighting like he was trying to send the corpse to another dimension? Who knows, and who cares, because both objectives were now blue, which meant 2 sectors secure. It was time to press onward. I was now a believer in Prot's grenades.
Nope.
Never mind. If all else fails, bring out the noob tube. Frustration began to build in our mute Protagonisn't as early cognitive decline began to kick in. And his aim went with it. Alongside his suffering, a plasterer was called to Prot's house later that day for reasons that we don't need to talk about. Sector 3 next, and things were busy. there was still hope for a revive. Never mind.
Oh, yeah.
Another death. This game was turning into a spawn camp. Just as well, Prot was a tranquil fellow. The enemies at Bravo were dug in and repelling all assaults. But that didn't mean our hero was about to change his tactics. Instead of reviving his teammate, Prot felt compelled to embrace tactical crouching. Now to the troublesome objective, Bravo. He moved to the flank. Time for a narrator tip. Want more kills? Watch the dead closely.
Double kill.
Sector 3 belonged to the blue team, and Prot couldn't help himself as he loaded up the noob tube once more. Yes, we get it. You're pleased with yourself. It's just as well you can't talk. Oh boy. Two sectors left, our third in command squad member still on the flank, hope building that this game could be won, unlike the last episode. It's hard to believe, but it seems like Prot is actually protecting his KD here and being, dare I say, cautious. The enemy lost their patience with the careful dissection of their army and sent a vehicle to deal with our mentally unstable Protagonisn't. They gravely underestimated the power of a madman. For the umpteenth time in his battlefield career, he was out of ammo, so this rock side quest was about to be over, unless the shotgun sniper was about to be pulled out. But no, it was a grenade. Time for a new gun. The final sector, arguably the hardest one too, as this was literally an uphill battle.
Wait.
What? Many would lose faith in humanity at this point, but not Prot. He waited like a coiled snake that had just been run over by a tractor, certain his squad would come charging to his rescue any moment now. Any moment now. Okay, fast forward this trash until someone cares. He was back. Back to the graveyard of reflection, that is. This wasn't working. Time for fresh tactics. And it doesn't get any fresher than a quad bike. It's okay, Prot, let us never speak of this again. But that's when it happened. That equilibrium found somewhere between pure rage and chaotic imbecilic purity. He wanted to win. Ammo again, he had to close the gap or be gunned down in the open. It was worth a try, right?
No.
As our hero bled out, the victory screen appeared. He'd done it! Technically while dead. Wait a minute, someone else stole first place, and frankly, that's not the kind of legacy we're leaving behind on this channel, so you know what that means? It's time to drag Prot's corpse back to work. To the siege of Cairo, arm the explosives, destroy the enemy MCOM station, but this time, things would be different. Less open space, less sectors, and less enemies. A Valorant player's dream. Apparently, some things never change. Prot was sure his grenade had already claimed a life. He was wrong. He looked around only to realise that not a single person backed up his heroic charge. But even though he seemed to have a bullet lodged in his skull, did you know the modern wonders of defibrillators can liquefy the bullet with the power of electricity? Especially if there isn't much brain matter around that foreign object. Objective B was armed, but Prot's enemy broke the unspoken rule of Battlefield. The one thing you must never, ever do. Both objectives were in hand, and our defiled champion hadn't even laid a finger on them yet. Are we just being selective now about what constitutes an enemy? Good grief, how does he do that? I have to say, the enemy flashlights in this game are like looking into the burning sun. It's ridiculous. Another objective armed that Prot had absolutely nothing to do with because our man was out here just to end bloodlines.
Okay, you have some skill.
This strategy was starting to make sense. How could the enemy disarm the bombs if they couldn't even get out of their spawns? Even though he knew exactly where he needed to go, the game said,
What are you doing?
for there were still enemies retreating from their new forward base. That can't have felt good to be fragged by the last defender. Perhaps this cooled our warrior's temper, or perhaps his murderous rage would, yes, send him back to the same place expecting a different result. Finally, the way was opened. The way was shut. You know, nothing says, I'm sick of my squad never catching up to my YOLOing, like a deploy beacon. Welcome to Battlefield. Looked like the deploy beacon was actually for him, while the rest of his team planted on Alpha. Yeah, I'm getting really sick of these flashlights.
And it hurts, doesn't it?
Teammates screaming for help. Prot replied,
Good luck.
I am starting to wonder if any thought to setting the charges on any objectives were ever going to cross his mind.
Where are you?
The strategy was in play once more. If the enemy can't reach Alpha, they can't save their precious MCOM stations. Everyone else is playing Battlefield while Prot is out here playing whack-a-mole. He was on fire now, so of course he set himself on fire.
Hot, 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 hot!
But when the reinforcements were being chipped away, our man turned the heat up with furious aggression.
Nope.
27 kills already, and I've decided that flashlights in daytime should be illegal in this game. Enemy right there, but some medics don't mind what happens to you after you get revived. Prot's demise signaled the end of that assault on Bravo, so he went for the good old solo flank. The enemy were ready for him. Licking his wounds all the way back to HQ, he took to the alleyways once more. Awful way to go, but before he met his doom, the deploy beacon was intact and he beamed himself back. The enemy threw everything they had to disarm those charges, and Prot gave them every bullet he had left. I think that might be a closed casket funeral, but this time our Protagonisn't had learned that retreating enemies cannot be allowed to leave. To be fair, that's how mid-range battles should go when you have a shotgun and they have an assault rifle. 2 sectors left, this game was far from secure, which is when finally our man got his hands dirty and placed the explosives himself. Total destruction. The enemy needed to neutralize this lone warrior, but apparently they already got the memo. Bravo next, so naturally the path less traveled was the choice of the day. Yes, he could have used the tank for cover or even got inside the tank, but we're not here for common sense. Besides, it looks like the distraction worked. By the way, Prot was never really into pantomime. He's behind you! Oh, no, he isn't. Well, yes, he is, with a great big frickin' flashlight! This place was an absolute war zone, but the Scooby Gang just needed to hold on just a little longer. The blue team might control the area, but it looked like soon enough there'd be nothing left to control but a pile of rubble! One final sector left, but just existing in this zone was an almighty challenge in itself. I don't blame you, Prot, I'd be running away too. But of course, it was not a retreat, it was another flank. Down went the rogue TV antenna so he could come back and watch the football later, but would our hero even survive to do that? Because closing the gap on the final objectives was harder than he thought. He survived the fall, but not the consequences. Back to the TV aerial. It was a miracle, an actual revive by the man himself. Of course, he probably recognized that the teammate acting like a pawn that may be useful again in the near future. They made it to the objectives at last, but there was still the welcoming party to consider. Just needed to survive a few moments. Made it. Now to deter the recapture. single-handedly holding back an entire squad with his shotgun. Prot was locked in, and Objective Bravo was primed to fall too. They just had to hold to win. Down but not out, help was nearby, and help decided that bleeding teammates can bleed some more. 60 kills, and for the second time today, our champion ended the game on his back, but at least witnessing the total destruction of his enemies, dominating them with a commanding lead, and yet providing plenty of laughs along the way. If you enjoyed what you saw, there's probably something wrong with you, but it would help us out if you drop a like and maybe subscribe for more brain-damaged gameplay. Goodbye.